In the small, forgotten town of Ravensbrook, where the mist clung to the cobblestones like a shroud of despair, there was an old mansion that no one dared to enter. This decrepit house, perched on the edge of a dark forest, was a monument to fear and loss. The locals called it the Whispering Shadows. For years, no one knew why whispers of sorrow and dread echoed from its walls every night, but everyone had their theories. Among them was Eliza, a young woman with a curiosity that bordered on recklessness. Determined to uncover the truth, she decided to enter the mansion, armed only with a flickering lantern and the courage of her convictions. The night swallowed her as she pushed open the heavy, creaking door, stepping into a darkness that seemed to breathe around her. Her footsteps echoed ominously through the eerie silence, and every shadow seemed to stretch and reach out to her like ghostly hands. In the heart of the mansion, Eliza found an old, dust-covered diary lying on a grand oak table. Its pages were brittle and yellowed with age, but it told a story of a family that had once lived in the mansion: a father, mother, and their 2 children, all of whom had vanished without a trace. The last entry, written in a shaky script, spoke of whispers that drove them to madness and despair. As Eliza read, the air around her grew colder, and the whispers began. They were soft at first, like the susurration of leaves, but they quickly grew louder and more insistent. Panic rose in her chest as she realized these whispers were not of sorrow but of warnings and threats. The shadows on the walls began to writhe and twist, forming grotesque shapes of contorted faces and claw-like hands. Eliza's breath quickened, and her lantern flickered wildly, casting erratic beams of light that danced with the shadows. She understood then why the town feared this place. The house was alive, feeding on the fear and despair of those who entered. Desperation clawed at her heart as she tried to find an escape, but the house seemed to shift and change, trapping her in its malevolent embrace. The whispers grew into a cacophony of screams, and the shadows closed in around her. In a final, desperate act, Eliza hurled the lantern against the wall, shattering it and igniting a blaze. The fire spread rapidly, consuming the mansion in a furious inferno. As she fled into the night, the screams and whispers of the house were drowned in the roaring flames. Ravensbrook watched in silence as the whispering shadows burned to the ground, leaving only ashes and a chilling memory. But even as the mansion was reduced to rubble, the townsfolk knew that some things are never truly gone. And on certain nights, when the mist was thick and the moon was but a sliver, they could still hear the faintest echoes of whispers carried on the wind.